Hey guys, in this video, I'm walking you through what happens after the lead books an inspection. So in the previous video, I walked you through what happens after the lead comes in through the website or through the inspection form. So in this video, we are going to continue from what happens or automations we set up for roofing companies after the inspection is booked. So by the end of this video, you'd have the exact system or post-inspection automations we set up for roofing companies and then how you can set it up in your accounts today. Now, before we jump into the automations, let me show you this quick map so that the sequence of events after the inspection book is clear. So after the inspection is booked, which the processes before that we covered or the automation before that we covered in the previous video, reps go for inspection. So when they go for inspection, they fill out this internal inspection form. I'll show you this form later. Then everyone is notified. Then they fill out the internal create estimate form, which is different from the internal inspection form. Then estimate is then created and sent. Now there are reminders to make sure that the leads sign and then they pay the invoice. Then after the estimate is then signed and invoice is paid. Also, you have to know that we are doing all of this in GoHighLevel, but then there are better ways to do this if you have make.com, and then you can have other softwares to make this much better. But for this video, we are using only GoHighLevel. That's if you only have a GoHighLevel account. So let me show you the automations we'll be using real quick. The first automation we'll be using is the inspection upload. So inspection upload, what happens? So as I mentioned earlier, they would fill the inspection upload form. What does it look like? So here's what the inspection upload form looks like. They fill out the contact name, they fill out the contact full name, they fill out the contact phone. This means they fill out the name of the person they went to inspect their building, right? Or their roof. So contact phone and contact phone and contact email. Then they upload the photos, right? Or they add a link to the Google Drive or whatever drive they use. So the link is pasted here. Now, after this form is submitted, we find the contact, right? So we find the contact by the email, the contact email name, right? So when we find the contact, we update the contact. Even though you can see create a contact over here, let me show you what happened. So we found the contact through the email in this step, find contact, right? We found the contact through the email the rep provided. Sometimes when people go for inspection, they end up with different phone numbers. So why we have this step over here is we add the contact phone number so that it updates the contacts, right, from before. Then after, we send an internal notification. We alert everyone username uploaded the inspection files for the contact, and then we find the opportunity. Before in GoHighLevel, it used to be update or create opportunity, but now we need to find the opportunity before we can now update the opportunity, because they've now made this update and create opportunity into two different actions. So first you have to find the opportunity. It took me some time to learn this, but you have to find the opportunity. So we find the opportunity inside the pipeline, right? Inside this pipeline we showed earlier, and then we update the opportunity to the stage inspection completed, because they just filled out the inspection form. And then we add a tag for the rep. And the title of the tag is build estimate and then send to the homeowner. As I said earlier, you can do this build estimate and then send to homeowner step in a much better way if you have other softwares or other, if you have make.com. Right. So they are now here. They are now at inspection completed. Now, so in our map, everyone is notified we did this, and then they fill out. So now after everyone is notified and then they are updated, we fill out the internal create estimate form. So what happens? So after the tax is added, this workflow is done. Now, after everyone is notified, and then we create the task for the sales rep or for the rep, we give them a deadline date of 1 day. So they have to create the estimate or fill out the estimate form within 1 day period. So this makes everything very fast. Now, by the way, if you think you need help setting this up for your company, I'm going to leave a link to my Instagram so you can DM me over there and then we can help you out. Right. So now I want to walk you through the second automation we have here. And this second automation is just trying to update the opportunity after the inspection is completed. Right. So you can see the triggers over here. Pipeline stage change, pipeline stage change, contact tag added, RF inspection completed, right? So after this, so let's say this happens. Let's say we move it to inspection completed over here. We would see that this workflow would kick in. Right. So let me just go back. Because you can see that there's one person inside it enrolled. Right. So what happens after the pipeline is changed? All users are notified, and then we add a task just telling them to fill out the estimate form and then create the estimate, and then we update the opportunity. Right. So we then update the opportunity to what estimate pending. So now when you look at this, so when you look at this right now, let me just reload this. You'll see that it is now at estimate pending. Right. So when they get to estimate pending, the sales rep is now supposed to what? Fill out the internal create estimate form. Now let me show you what the form looks like. Right. So internal create estimate form. So they fill out the first name, last name, the phone number, the email, the job type, right? The estimate scope, the total estimate or the estimate total, the materials, and then other notes they might have. And then let's go back. This automation kicks in when they submit. So you can see it over here. When they submit, this automation kicks in. So when this form is submitted, we find the contact again, right? So this time using all the information, first name, last name, contact, email, right? Contact email and then contact phone. We use all the information again. And then once the contact is found, we send them an email. So one thing you have to notice, as I mentioned earlier, if you have third-party softwares, right, you can do this in a much better way. But for now, we are using GoHighLevel to do all of this. So this is what happens. So we send them an email, and then we add a link, right, to the form where they can sign, where they can approve and then sign, right? So then we send them an SMS. Let me just confirm. We send them an SMS to make sure that, or to make sure that we notify them that we just send them the estimates via their email. We find the opportunity. We find the opportunity as I mentioned earlier, and then we update the opportunity. Right. Now, let me show you the form. And then here's the form. So they give us their first name, their last name, their email again, right? And the deposit amount they are willing to do, right? So let's say they are willing to do half. Let's say their job is maybe 5,000, they are willing to do 2,500. They can put the deposit amount over here and then sign and then submit. So now what happens after they submit? So estimate signed. What happens after estimate is signed? Right? So we find the contact again. We always want to find the contact to make sure that we have the right contact info. Right? So we find the contact. But this time we use the contact ID, right? To find the contact. So we find the contact, we find the opportunity, right? Yeah. And then we send an email. We've received your signed estimate. Thanks for this. Here's the payment link. And then here we give them a link, right? So let's just say this is a link. Okay, this. Save. They are going to, okay, fine, it's fine. Let's just say we send them a link. Now, once the deposit is made, our scheduler will call to set the installation date or your installation date. So once they pay the deposit amount, then or once this is sent, then confirm an internal notification is also sent, sign their estimates, ready for scheduling. So we wait until they pay, and then we then, you know, the sales rep or the rep in charge of that particular lead then comes and then moves this to there's then comes and then moves this to job schedule. Now, as I said, this would be much more easier for you if you have, make.com, and then you have other third-party softwares, which I won't get into in this video. Okay, so now that's basically what happens, and then we are done. So in this video, I walked you through what happens after the inspection is booked, how the reps go for inspection, fill out the internal form, everyone is notified, and then they fill out the internal create estimate form, estimate is just created and sent, reminders are sent, and then estimate is then signed and invoice is paid. So I hope this video was helpful and then you found some valuable, information from the video. So if you think you might need help setting this up for your company, I'll leave my Instagram link in the description down below. So you can send me a DM on Instagram and then we can help you out. Thank you guys for it. See you in the next one.